What's up? What's up? Welcome, and I'm so excited to see you. So, in our podcast today, we're going to be exploring an extremely important topic, very fascinating too. So, I bet you want to buckle up because this is gonna be lit. So, the topic is about change, right? We want to change. I want to change. Other people want to change. You want other people to change as well. But how do we do that? How do we achieve that goal? Is the strategies that we have been employing, are they working? If they're not, then honey, you and me are in the same boat. So let's sit here and figure out what this strategy of getting it right looks like. I'll see you soon.
It's my dream, there are no lies. It's cold and dark, just like ice. I'm inside it, left alone.
What is emotional intelligence? It's your ability to correctly understand, interpret, evaluate, and appropriately respond to your emotions as well as other people's emotions. So, people that have high EQ relatively have very successful and thriving relationships. So, that is why it's extremely important for us to actually develop our EQ. But then, starters, how do you know if you've got high EQ or low EQ? Every day we are faced with the decision of having to be better, having to achieve better, having to go to better places, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and so on. So, in our journey of transforming into the people that we want to be, in our journey of attaining our goals, there's an aspect of change, which is sometimes not a difficult thing, but for the most part, change can be very difficult because it's not easy to deconstruct yourself and reinvent yourself into somebody else that you have not been for all the years that you've lived so far, right? So, as we journey along that path of trying our best to make better decisions every day, there's strategies that we put into play to get there, right? So I'm going to talk about things that do not work, and then we're also going to look at things that actually work, right? For us to be the best version of ourselves, for us to live the abundant lives that we are meant to live, it is possible, right? It is possible. However, the means of getting there needs to also be very clear. It needs to be productive. It can't be means that destroy us whilst we're trying to build ourselves up, right? So let's think about yourself, right? So take a brief moment to think about how do you encourage yourself every day to achieve your goals? How do you go about the process of transforming into a better person? What is the internal dialogue that you go through to move and push yourself closer to that goal that you want to achieve? So that how part is extremely important because it will determine how successful you will be in actually achieving your goal or how slow you're going to take to get to where you want to be. So here are the toxic ways that we definitely have to avoid tapping into or using to try to bring out the best in ourselves. One of those ways is negative criticism. Criticism is good. There's nothing bad about it, but it starts to be bad when it is destructive instead of constructive. What does destructive criticism look like? It's that voice that disempowers you. So it can sometimes come in the form of, okay, no, but then just be real. We're being real. This is how you are. But actually, yeah, even though you are stating the truth, are you stating it in a way that is constructive? So it's not to say that we shouldn't accept the reality of our situations or where we are, but it's the way that we approach those situations. You know, it's really disempowering if we just point out our flaws and our shortcomings in a way that makes us feel bad and then It's like we will now want to change because we are under compulsion. We now want to change because we feel forced to change, or we feel um, controlled into change, or we feel shamed into changing. So all of those strategies are extremely counterproductive, right? So negative criticism, that thing when you give someone feedback or you give yourself feedback in a disempowering way, that is what we need to avoid. And then the other aspect that we need to avoid is shaming and blaming, right? When we shame ourselves and blame ourselves into trying to change. So you basically like really like step step on yourself and step on others in an effort of trying to make them change. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have a little brother who never picks up after his mess, right? I live with him at home and he's always leaving his clothes on the floor. There's different ways I can try to achieve the goal of making him be a tidy person. One way is to say to him, hey, what are you doing? What kind of a person are you? How I can't, I don't even know how to negatively criticize guys. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I used to be a very critical person, so I'll try to remember how that looks like. Um, okay. So saying that like, oh, you're such a dirty person. How does it even make sense to you to leave your clothes on the floor? Think about it. Is what I'm saying true? To some degree or to a greater extent, it is true. My brother has dirty habits, right? But the way I'm pointing out his shortcoming is very destructive. It's not addressing the behavior, it's actually attacking him as a person by saying, you're such a dirty person. No, what I'm doing is actually reinforcing that negative behavior instead of encouraging him to just move away from it and recognize that it's just a behavior. I can choose to change it or not. But if I attack him in that way by saying, yo, you're such a dirty person, then what's happening is I'm actually messing up with his psyche. I'm making him believe that he is a dirty person. And as a result, I'm doing the exact opposite of what I want to achieve. I am reinforcing the very thing that I'm trying to change in him by saying that you are this, you are a dirty person. It's reinforcing it. It's not eroding it. So what do you guys think would be a better way to approach that situation? How do I inspire my brother to change, or how do I encourage him to change? A better way would be to say, oh, hey, I noticed that sometimes you forget to pick up your clothes. Is it okay if you can just remember to pick them up as soon as you can? Because I know that you're generally a um, very tidy person, very organized person. So I know this is something that you can definitely sort out. So let me know if you need help. I'll be happy to help, but I'd really appreciate if you can remember to pick up the clothes, right? I know that's a lot of words, but you get the point, right? I'm not attacking him. I'm not labeling him as a dirty person. In fact, I've actually called what I want to see, right? I've actually planted the seed of what I want to see growing, which is I want him to believe that he is an organized person. He is a tidy person. So I have to say it, even though I can't see it. But I have to plant that seed of saying, you're actually an organized person. You are someone that is really good at putting your life together, and I really admire that about you. So I notice you just forget sometimes to pick your clothes up, and then what I just did by that, I addressed the behavior. So he's able to separate himself from it, and he's likely not to be defensive as well, because he can actually see that, oh, I'm on his side, and what I'm doing is I'm just trying my best to bring out the best in him. And he's likely to gravitate more to me instead of feeling like, okay, yeah, this girl is just so judgmental. She just, I don't know, she's repelling. So it's a lesson that I also had to learn the hard way, that we really cannot change ourselves or change others by shaming them or um, blaming them, judging them, being critical, and all of those things. It really doesn't work. It's very counterproductive. But what we can do if you do want to see those changes is to definitely focus on encouragement. So, whatever seeds you plant, that's what's going to grow. Whatever you water, that is what's going to grow. It's such a beautiful analogy. Um, just imagine like there's different pots of plants, right? Like there's a plant that represents self doubt. There's a plant that represents being messy. There's a plant that represents being critical. There's a plant that represents love, kindness. Whatever we focus on, whatever we pay attention to, whatever we water, that's the plant that's going to grow. So if I'm constantly going to reinforce self doubt by saying, Ish, I'm such a, yeah, I can't do this, I can't do this. What am I doing? I'm actually reinforcing the self doubt in me, those seeds of self doubt. I'm making them grow even stronger inside me, and they're going to grow and replicate and just cause a mess. But if I choose to focus on watering the seeds of love, watering the seeds of I can do this, and always reminding myself that I can achieve anything I want in this world, there's no limitations at all. The only limitations that exist are those in my head, and I can easily get rid of them. Then that allows those seeds of love and growth and fulfillment to take place, right? Happiness to blossom. So I really hope that in our desire to desperately change, our desire to desperately help our loved ones around us change and be better, we won't bite ourselves in the foot by discouraging them without realizing that that's actually what we're doing. We won't um, block our progress. We won't block what we want to see by using counterproductive ways such as shaming, blaming, demonizing. What else? All of those negative ways of trying to make someone change, name calling, labeling, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. That is why people resist. That is, people have egos. So if you like go after them in that way, it really bruises them. And we don't change. We don't change if we are attacked in that way. As human beings, we just don't do it. So that is why we have to understand the psychology of being a human being. As human beings, we change when there's a positive energy, when there's an energy of encouragement and love. Things grow from a place of love. So even that change that you want to see in yourself, it has to come about from a place of love, not a place of feeling like, yo, I don't like this. Of course, you don't like it, but at least the change has to come because you love yourself, right? You love yourself and not because you despise yourself. No, 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 no. Yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was in primary school, I had a teacher that believed in me. Like she believed she believed in me so much. She would say these very empowering words like, "Oh, I see that you're gonna go so far in life, Sam. You're a gem. You're a star. You need to know that you are the one. You've got the it." She would say those things. She would say them consistently. And I remember I was 7 years old, guys. I was 7 years old. I never forgot that woman's words. And there was a day in class when she literally looked at like our faces, like right in our eyes and said, I see you. You are going to go far. I see you. I see you. I see you. You are going to go far. All of us, everyone that she planted those seeds of greatness in is doing extremely well in their lives. So imagine a teacher, she's not even my parent, but someone that was there in a very significant part of my life in my younger years. She really had a significant impact on the person that I grew up to be. I started growing up as a very, very confident and fearless person because of all of those words of affirmations that she planted in us. So we started seeing ourselves through the lenses that she gave us. And because of that, We were inspired to do better. We were inspired to match the vision of us that she had in her head and that she kept reinforcing inside of us. So similarly, that's the same thing we have to do with ourselves. We cannot talk down on ourselves into changing. We have to really embrace positivity, focusing on solutions. I'm going to make another video about the importance of focusing on solutions instead of problems, because if you focus on problems, you're going to get bigger. If you focus on solutions, you're going to get bigger. And it just works that way, right? So, yes, be the person that chooses to encourage themselves every day. Love yourself into changing, encourage yourself into changing, inspire yourself into changing, inspire others into changing, encourage others into changing. It doesn't really take much to encourage someone, even just focusing on the one thing that you know that they're doing well, instead of reminding them of the 99 things that they might not be doing well. So that's extremely important. Ooh, okay. Yeah. So it's extremely important that we truly take time to focus very, very deeply on the things that we are doing well. When we grow our gratitude for the things that we are doing well and we just zoom into that, then we're going to have strength to add another one more thing that we will start to do well in, right? But if we just focus on everything that we perceive as wrong in our lives, eh, those things will keep on growing. They'll keep on growing, and it's not good. So imagine what would happen. Imagine how you would feel about yourself. Imagine how you'd feel about life, how you'd feel about others if you just focused on the good things about them. The good things, right? What makes people feel crappy about themselves is because they focus on the negative things about themselves, right? They focus on the negative things about themselves. They focus on the negative things they perceive about other people. They focus on the negative, negative, negative. And then life just becomes a very negative experience for them, right? So I really, really hope that we can all make that commitment to say, listen, I've done this for years. It hasn't worked. Now it's time to do things differently. I'm going to focus on what is going well. I'm going to focus on the good things about me. And by doing that, I'm going to make those things grow. And I'm going to be inspired and have energy to have more things to add onto that list of the good things that I have going for me. So it's amazing. Like I said, that teacher, just by her believing in us, even though there was no like full evidence that we were all going to make it in life, she believed in us relentlessly. She really did. And that inspired all of us to really be like, oh, we did so well in school. We did so well in our careers. It was extremely, extremely empowering. So you never know how your words of encouragement are going to inspire someone to really unlock that potential, that that dominant potential inside them. You never know. So all we have to do is to just plant those seeds, and notice how people will start to gravitate more to you when you start to focus on the positive things about them. Because think about it, people are already judging themselves every single day, focusing on the negative things about themselves every single day. For the most part, many people do that, right? So they don't need another person to now come and remind them of those negative things over and over again. It's just too much. That is why they end up repelling from the person that does that. It's very repellent. But what people actually really need more than anything is someone that is going to affirm the things that are good about them that they doubt. Okay, I might actually doubt that I'm a good person, but if somebody comes to me and they're like, yo, that was really good, that was really amazing, then that doubt flies off the window, because now I have another person who has verified that, oh, okay, that was good. So then I'm empowered and strengthened in that way. Imagine how society would look like if we just take that paradigm shift, if we just shift our energy to focus on that positive, 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 right? So, like I said, that teacher didn't even have to tell me that, okay, you need to change this. Just her focusing on one thing, making us believe that we are the greatest human beings that have ever lived on the face of the earth. It made us want to match that vision. So we already had big goals for our lives simply because of that. So similarly, you won't even have to tell people that, hey, you need to do this now. After this, you need to do this. Just by you believing in them, they're gonna have a list of things that they already make up in their mind that, hey, I'm gonna do this for myself to match the person that everyone else believes that I am. Right. So I really hope that this talk was inspiring. And I hope that you can always remember to be encouraging before you give anyone any feedback. Think about the words that you're sharing. Ask yourself, are they edifying? Is my speech seasoned with grace? Is it full of love? Is it coming from a place of love and empowerment and empowering? Is it helpful? Right? So if we focus on that, being helpful, being loving, and being accepting as well, then we give people space to actually grow beautifully, because everything that is created was born from a place of love. So if we don't have that love for ourselves and others, then it's going to be difficult to see results. But if we do operate from that place of love and encouragement and empowering, then everything else is going to start blossoming in the different aspects of our lives. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.